Hey guys, this is the new McLaren Artura, and it's basically the replacement to what used to be known as the Sport series of models from McLaren, such as the 570S. It debuts a brand new platform, the MCLA, mostly carbon fibre to keep weight to a minimum. It also supports hybrid technology for the first time, so this has got a plug-in hybrid system, would you believe it? With hybrid power, it's basically an intermediate step before we get to fully electric, and I think it's great. It works quite well with a supercar, blending in traditional elements such as sound and that sort of progressive power, but it also, the electric motor provides instant torque low down in the revs. That's third gear, and it just picks up with no problem at all. Look at that, straight away. Hard on the brakes. Bit of wheel spin going over the bumps. Behind the cabin there is a 3-litre twin-turbo V6 paired with a 7.4 kilowatt-hour battery. I can't actually lift the bonnet or the engine cover for you to show you the engine because it's a big seamless clamshell panel running from the door all the way around to the other side. McLaren says it did this because it wanted to reduce the amount of panel gaps and just the interruption of flowing lines. So you still have a little panel down on the corner there, but other than that, it is just one seamless flow. I love this little lip spoiler that's integrated into the bodywork. It looks very elegant. That V6 produces 430 kilowatts alone, while the electric motor provides a 70 kilowatt boost. And then combined, you have 500 kilowatts and 720 newton meters. It's pretty much as powerful as the 720S, which was part of the Super series of McLaren models. And the 720S is one of my favorite cars of all time. It's absolutely bonkers through the gears. This is quite similar to that. You can actually drive under electric power alone for about 30 kilometers is the official rating, but you're probably going to get more like about 25 or 20 kilometers, and you can plug it in. So you could actually drive this to work without actually starting the engine. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. If you've got a supercar, you want to hear the engine and want to, experience everything that it has. And also you don't want to be living with 70 kilowatts when you've got a car looking like this. But it's great to have that as an option. You can just flick it into electric mode if you're driving in traffic, for example, quieten the engine down and just enjoy a more peaceful drive. In terms of the design, it does look a little bit, I don't know, all McLarens kind of look the same, but the rear end of this does look quite different. This big mesh grille that goes all the way across is quite unique in my opinion. The tail lights are also mounted a bit higher. They're usually sort of cutting through somewhere halfway down. And then the front end, yeah, it does look very characteristic of a modern McLaren. This example does have the black pack, so it's got gloss black just below the headlights there, and then all around the front end. The mirrors and the roof as well are also in black for that contrast look. This glistening paintwork is actually a part of the MSO department, so this is an exclusive paint. You can option up for pretty much any color you like. It is a stunning color. You probably can't see it on camera quite as much, but it's got this sort of gold, pearly, metallic flickering going on in the sunlight. It's really nice. One of the distinguishing features of the Artura are these vents on the front guards here. So these were going to be part of the MSO package, but they found during testing that it actually handles a lot better with them, so they put them on as standard. It adds that motorsport derived theme to it, but it also, yeah, it's very functional. So what happens when you're driving along, the wheel compresses over bumps and it needs somewhere for that air to go, and it creates all sorts of turbulence that you don't want. So instead it gets exhausted out of those fins. And then down the side you've got these huge intakes for the coolers. When you give it a rev, you can hear the turbo wastegate fluttering. It's pretty cool. And you've also got these secondary coolers nestled into the corners there. You don't quite notice them until you get up close. We'll have a quick look inside. It does have the dihedral doors that flip right up, but there's plenty of clearance before that corner hits the ground, or even a gutter or a high ledge or something like that. There is plenty of clearance there, so you don't have to worry about it. Inside, very dedicated driver's cabin, but this model does have the extended leather, so all over the dash, door trims, the console, and it's got the rigid bucket seats. They're actually really comfortable, even though they look like they're straight from a racing car. They actually provide a decent amount of comfort, but as well as excellent support. Like, look at the size of those bolsters sticking out. And then you've got this little switch down here to adjust the seat, and it doesn't actually lift it just straight up and down. It kind of rocks like a cradle. So if you want the backrest tilted back a bit more, you just lift it up at the front and it sort of rocks back. A new dash design for McLaren though, brand new touchscreen as well, which is a huge improvement over the previous McLaren touchscreens. I mean, you don't buy these types of cars to sit around and fiddle with the touchscreen anyway, but it is a nice big improvement over the previous system. And then a fully digital instrument cluster as well. I'll jump in. This is never a dignified exercise. You sort of got to put your feet in first, and then, yeah, once you're in, it's not too bad. You've got, well, I've got decent headroom. It doesn't feel like I'm too cramped, but it definitely feels low slung, like I'm driving a supercar. I've got a great driving position. The steering wheel's right at my chest, but I can also adjust it up and down, and the whole console, the whole panel here comes with it. So this test car's got electric adjustment. You just pull this little stalk here and the whole thing will move. I like these little toggles for the drive modes basically. So on the right side you have the engine or the powertrain, and on the left side you've got the handling characteristics. So you can change that just by pushing the sides in comfort mode, put it in sport mode, and then this side's got the electric, comfort and sport as well. So when you start it, it does start in electric mode. But then as you toggle through to sport, it starts the engine. Oh, and there's also a track mode as well. It is a little bit overwhelming at first, just all the information on the screen, but you do get used to it, and you can change what you want to display on the left and the right using this little stalk down here. As I mentioned, this screen is much better than the previous McLaren systems. You've just got a button on the side, which is also the volume control. You hit that and it'll take you to the main menu. You can either have your recent apps or go to a traditional grid layout. And then up at the front, even though this is a supercar, you do have some cargo space. So you could fit a couple of carry-on luggage cases or something like that in there. It's actually got a 12-volt socket there as well. So if you wanted to power up some accessories like a cooler box, you've got the option there. We'll go for a bit of a drive now. I'll put the camera on my head and try and give you an idea of what it's like to drive, including how that hybrid system works, how it integrates with the V6 engine, and then we'll get stuck into the performance testing. First things first, I've got it in track mode and in manual shifting mode as well. It does ride pretty good, this thing. It's not as rigid as you might expect. McLarens have always done very good at suspension technology in terms of being able to cushion the bumps, but as well as keep the car very flat and neutral, whereas this is just the same. It's surprisingly comfortable even on rough roads. But yeah, that power is just insane. You can feel the electric motor, so it's 70 kilowatts it provides. You can feel it providing that extra torque low down when the engine isn't quite revving yet. And it pushes you from behind. You don't quite expect it at first because you can't hear it, obviously. So it's just something that you've got to get used to, I guess. It wouldn't take very long. I was spinning the wheels during performance testing into third gear. So that torque is just very much low down, and even McLaren says it fills the gaps in torque where the engine can't provide maximum torque. The electric motor can provide instant torque. But yeah, the top end power is just insane. Good brakes as well, carbon ceramic obviously. The battery system does weigh about 80 kilograms, so it does add a little bit of weight, but that's not much really, especially when you've got this much power. You can hear the turbos sneezing and coughing and things at some points of the rev range, especially when you back off the accelerator while it's under load. Yeah, immense slow down response. It's insane. There is a bit of wheel shuddering going on, vibrations just on this rough road. So it's a concrete road with lots of blocks. Now, I've just found that coming up and down here a few times, it just shakes a little bit. Not to the point where it's, you know, making you feel uncomfortable in any way. It's just very raw, which is kind of what you want in a car like this. It doesn't feel electronic, that's for sure. That's third gear, just picks up with no problem at all. Look at that, straight away. Hard on the brakes. Bit of wheel spin going over the bumps. Yeah, this is an incredible machine. All right, let's do some performance tests and see what sort of numbers it can produce.